Welcome back to the channel, or welcome if new. My name's Heather. I'm a queer author of dark fantasy and supernatural horror. But today is a TBR video I have for you. The lovely Maddie from Browsing Books has yet again put on an amazing read-a-thon in June called Whathathon. I will link her announcement video up in the cards because it's a very read whatever you want-a-thon, but also there is competitive elements if you'd like to participate in those. I am taking part in it as Team Shelf Slayers because I liked the image that it had, I liked the team captains, and it gave me the most fantasy vibes. Without further ado, I'm going to give you a rundown of what I'm planning on possibly reading. So this is a TBR, but it's also sort of books that I'm really eager to get to. There is a bingo board that I'll put up here. This is for the Shelf Slayer team. There are 14 standard prompts, 5 like non-reading prompts, and then 5 team-specific prompts on the bingo board, and these are all the prompts for the read-a-thon. Each book you read can count for 3 reading prompts, as many non-reading prompts as you want. First, I'm just going to work across from left to right in the bingo board. So the first one is a borrowed book. So I have borrowed Seanan McGuire's Across the Green Grass Fields, which is a book in the Wayward Children series from a friend, and I really do need to get it back to them at some point. I borrowed it shamefully long ago, so I'm going to plan on it definitely reading this so I can get it back to them. And I also picked up, so the other one I got from the library is called All's Well by Mona Awad. I read Bunny by this author, and it is a weird, trippy, horror, supernatural story about, not this one, Bunny. So I really enjoyed that, so I thought I'd give this one a try. And this is, Miranda's life is a waking nightmare. An accident has ended her acting career, and she's got a failed marriage, and now she is on the verge of losing her job as a college, a college theatre director. Determined to put on Shakespeare's All's Well That Ends Well play at any costs. She faces the cast hellbent on staging Macbeth instead, which is also quite funny because Macbeth has to probably be my favourite Shakespeare play. So they are the 2 borrowed books. And then we have the and in the title. So I'm doing Togathon for the rest of the year. In June, it is Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. Togathon is the read-a-thon where I figured out, starting in May, if I read a book in the Throne of Glass series every month, including the Assassin's Blade, which is the bind-up of novellas, I can finish this series by the end of the year. But I have started Throne of Glass and then put it down for some unknown reason. So I've got Throne of Glass or Crown of Midnight. So I need to get Throne of Glass done, and then I'll move on to Crown of Midnight. And then it can also count for Across the Green Grass Fields, a bunch of others. So I'm just going to look at that when it pops up and tick it off. And then there's a book with under 300 pages. So I know this one definitely counts. So I could use this and just cross off the top 3. And then Cozy Reading Night, which is a non-reading specific, like book specific goal. So I'll just do that. And then the next one is Recently Hauled. I did just pop up my birthday haul, which has a bunch of books. So I will just probably pick up one of these at some point. I definitely need to pick up Wild and Wicked Things by Francesca May, because this is my book club that I go in person to. It's a book for June that I was gifted by them. Well, they all put in like a couple of bucks and told me to go buy the book on behalf of them. And then the next, going to the second line, is, so blank on the cover is the first prompt on the second line. I'm just going to ask Siri now. Hey Siri, give me a random colour please.
How about ultramarine?
Okay, it's a dark blue colour. So I just need to find a dark blue book. And then on a previous TBR, I will link my TBR playlist up above. But I could use Throne of Glass. I also have a bunch of other books like The Bone Shard Daughter, Girls of Paper and Fire, Malice has been on the list, Girl, Serpent, Thorn. So I'm just going to kind of look through those and whatever jumps out at me. Join a 48-hour read-a-thon. Currently, that might be happening on the second weekend in June. Check the Twitter, Discord, and Instagram of Whathathon for that one. The Shelf Slayer's second prompt is a spooky book. I have so many to choose from, so I don't quite know what I will pick for that one, given I like spooky, macabre, horror books. But I might go The Bone Witch, which is a fantasy by Chapeco about a witch who turns out to have necromantic powers. And then favourite genre, so a lot of these are fantasy, so I can tick that off quite easily, choose whatever book it just fits in. And then we're moving on to the middle line of it, and it's a guilt-free activity. So if you don't want to read, do whatever you want. And then we have a hybrid genre. Probably stuff like fantasy romance, dark fantasy romance. Wilder Girls most likely will be the one I pick up for that because it is sort of a science fiction horror. So yeah, I'll go with that. Rory Power's Wilder Girls, which really sounds to me as sort of a science fiction horror sort of idea, that there is school on an island and this thing called the Tox takes over and they're put into quarantine. And then they start transforming, so it's a bit of a body horror book as well. So spooky book, hybrid genre. Then the center of the bingo board is a free spot, so get that automatically. The next one is a one-word title. I think I would go for Mona, which is a middle grade graphic novel. I don't tend to pick up graphic novels. I've also had this on my shelf for a really long time and everyone keeps telling me I'm going to love it. So I need to get around to actually picking that up. Then we have, the next one is host's favourite. There is 4 or 5 teams and 2 hosts each. So there's something like 45 books to choose from. So as long as I'm going to just read what I feel like. I'm pretty sure with 45 books, I'm going to be able to tick off it somewhere. And then join sprints, so it can be reading sprints, productivity sprints, any sort of thing, and then continue a series. So I can go into a Seanan McGuire. If I get around to a Crown of Midnight, that counts as continuing on a series. The next one is a bit fun, and it is Last Letter, First Letter. An example of this would be if I read Mona that ends in an A, the next book I pick up could or should be Across the Green Grass Fields, or I could do All Is Well by Mona Awad, or I could do this recently hauled book for my birthday called Autonomy, a Love Story. So they are some ideas for that. So yes, the last word in the first title goes into being the first word of the next title of the book you read. A purple cover, dun dun dun. The Bone Witch, it's a beautifully purple cover. And the rule of the read-a-thon is do whatever you want, but just don't be a dick. So the way my book works is each month we're presented with 3 books and then we all vote on which book we want to read. So I count that as the poll. So I will be doing the Wild and Wicked Things just because it will get me to read this, and it is a poll book recently hauled. So I can tick off a few different prompts with that one. Least read genre. Romance, non-fiction. I will just kind of pick up, I don't tend to read romance, historical fiction. So yeah, they are some genres I least read, so I probably will try and get to that. The next one is a weapon on the cover. Crown of Midnight has a weapon on the cover. Throne of Glass, she has a weapon on the cover. Mona, there's a sword on the cover. So they are covers, weapons. I think I'll just kind of look at the cover when I read it. Again, a 2021 release. Okay, so I will have to have a look at which of these books is a 2021 release. And then finally, it is a non-reading prompt of complete your personal goal. It doesn't have to be reading or writing or book related, so I will just tick that off because it's a non-book specific one. So these are predominantly the books I plan on trying to get to. My camera died during the last little bit, so I had to put it on charge. So this is the outro. I'm sorry if it's a bit wonky. This is a collection of the books I'm going to aim to get to for Whathathon, and just go through the prompts. I obviously won't read them all. I will prioritize like the book club book, Across the Green Grass Fields, to get it back to my lovely friend. But let me know what you're planning on reading in June if you're taking part in Whathathon. Let me know which team you've decided. And until next time, let's use our voices to promote positive change in the world. Thank you and goodbye!